Hey, everybody. I'm Andy. It's nice to meet you online. I wanted to make this video as a quick introduction to go over some details on what exactly this document is, who I am, and the value I believe I can provide to the Neon Labs organization. Now, this video, it's going to be a little bit longer than the other videos, probably 5 to 8 minutes. I'll drop timestamps below, so that way, if you'd like to skip to whatever interests you most, you have the ability to do so. This document is meant to be a breakdown of what I think might be one of the best business partnership and grant management programs in the entire Web3 ecosystem. I come from a background of running digital agencies. I've done pretty much every aspect of the business, everything from actually creating an agency from scratch and scaling it to dozens and dozens of clients with more than 15 employees all over the world, working completely remotely. I come from a background of sales, more than 12 years, starting right out of high school in a commission-only job selling fashion in the mall. And from the last decade plus, I've sold pretty much everything under the sun, from life insurance to raising capital, oil and gas, real estate, and on top of that, software technology, digital services, business coaching. Again, if it exists, I've probably interacted with it at some point. And I wanted to understand how could I take this experience of running agencies, coaching agency owners, working for an agency and hiring other agencies, and being able to understand how do we take these skill sets from the performance advertising and performance marketing space, being able to utilize concepts that are pretty standard to us, like conversion rates and customer avatars, and being able to come up with the absolute best user experiences, not just for a customer journey, but also for the internal side of things. See, in the growth marketing space, we typically work with people from all over the world, very similar to the Web3 ecosystem. The difference, though, is that we've been digital natives for a while, and not many people have realized that, like most digital marketers, they're hiring all over the world: in Nigeria, Philippines, India, Pakistan, Russia, Mexico, Colombia, everywhere you can imagine. And so it's required having very specific systems that are automated and consistent and reliable, systems that are able to scale, and most importantly, systems that are affordable, that we're able to iterate very quickly, to set up feedback loops. So that way, then we're able to make adjustments and respond to the rapidly changing environment. The kind of problems where every couple of weeks Facebook rolls out a new update, or Google has some kind of a breaking technology change, or the APIs updated, and all of a sudden our our automation systems don't work anymore because all of our databases are out of sync. So there's all sorts of challenges that are pretty synonymous to what can be experienced in the crypto space. So I've been working in crypto full time for a little bit over a year now. Dove in headfirst all the way last year, pretty much just degened in. In that time period, I've been able to explore pretty much every aspect of the space, including working at multiple projects as a contractor in different roles, everything from executive all the way down to implementation. I've also have a background of a technical nature. I put together data pipelines using Python, dbt, and Google BigQuery to be able to set up more powerful marketing analytics inside of the mostly Facebook ads, but also conversion rate optimization and user experience side of conversion advertising, conversion marketing, basically making it to an e-com store can sell way more than what it was previously. And as I was exploring the different products available, I will show you later on, but I made a database of over 400 projects that I thought sounded interesting after going through more than 1,400 projects of every single project on Polkadot, Solana, and a couple hundred from Ethereum as well. I then broke those down to the 80 projects I thought were the most interesting. And from those projects, I found Neon Labs to be the absolute most interesting to me. I'd watched the entire 4-hour event that you guys had in Amsterdam back in April. Funny enough, I was actually there, but I was at a Polkadot event. Perhaps we bumped shoulders at one of the out in the town at somewhere. I was really impressed and inspired by seeing what the executive team had put together. I know that there was a question that a gentleman asked. I don't remember the exact question he asked, but Marina had answered him. Basically, the man was wanting to know how is it, what happened to the price changes, and he's doing a swap or something, and it's the data, the contract is being sent through the Neon EVM proxy, And as it's being processed through Polkadot, that things change. And she was explaining how even if it's being, even if the transaction is being processed on the traditional Ethereum virtual machine, it still has to be processed somewhere. And that takes a passage of time. And that what happens is that once the transaction is completed, once the execution has been done, the receipt is sent back to the original in the original account. The same process happens. So Ethereum has no idea of the existence of Solana. That's the point of the Neon proxy. And so it was just fascinating to see the way that she had broke down this information in a manner that was really just so smooth. I could tell there was really a professional team behind this project, and that inspired me. And then to be able to see the way that James, he had so much charisma on stage, and the way that he and Constantine interacted with each other, I felt like there was really a strong team, a strong team culture that was it was interesting to me. So not only was it something that Neon Labs as a technology is something that was very exciting to me, but also to be able to see that the leadership team are folks that I feel like I'd get along with very well. Andrei, I don't know very much about him. I haven't actually seen him on camera, but I feel like we may get along. Сейчас я могу чуть-чуть по-русски, но, к сожалению, я плохо вижу. It's something where I don't exactly have all the information yet, but I believe that Neon Labs is one of the best projects in the entire space. So what this video is about and what this page is about is I'd like to share my entire research with you. What I've been doing is analyzing all of these projects, looking for the trends and the insights, no different than I would in the advertising space when looking to be able to optimize a campaign. And in this case here, I started off, yeah, I'll go ahead and share my screen for a moment. I started off taking a look at, what projects are out there and to see what are the differences, what are the different categories, put together a schema so that way I can organize this information better. I wanted to find out which ecosystems seemed the most hot versus actually had the most activity and progress. And then after going through every single one of these websites, I started off tracking the social metrics, but then at one point I realized that things change so fast. I want to narrow down the most important first. And that led me to putting together a mind map and seeing exactly what are the top projects that are interesting, who seems to be really crushing, and what kind of projects would I like to be able to put my attention towards. Most specifically, what teams do I think would be the most impactful to work with? Where can I make the biggest difference? I've also been quite interested in the Web2 space, being able to understand how can we leverage technology that already exists to further empower everything that we do inside of the Web3 ecosystem. This then led me to explore, well, what would it take, to take the skills of an agency expert, somebody who has been on every side of the table in the agency space, setting up marketing automations, putting together CRM systems, building out campaigns, and having to not just strategize, create these strategies, but also to be able to execute, spearhead, take ownership and responsibility for them, to create analytic systems and reporting that can be comprehensive enough to pass a third-party company that is going to be analyzing everything. And on top of that, it's a very, very fast-moving environment. So to be able to take these skills, I wanted to crack the code on what would it look like potentially to create the absolute best business partnership system. And I believe I found that. I started off in just analyzing what are the different positions and what are they looking for. And then I went through their websites and funnel hacked them to find out what technologies are they using, what systems are consistent, what phrases and what types of trends can I find, and what products are looking for in various business development, grants management, director of ecosystem growth, or digital marketing, or growth marketing, or whatever words they want to call the person who brings in deals to the company. From there, I wanted to understand more about the grants programs. I've already worked with 3 different projects that have each successfully achieved grants in the Polkadot ecosystem. I've been a part of actually building a grants program. And on top of that, I've helped bring in more than 50 project partnerships from the previous companies that I've worked at. So it's something where I had a pretty good idea of what it was, but I wanted to have the data to back it up. So I set up a system to where I could score different projects. I went through the entire grant application process from the perspective of an applicant. And then I mapped that all out. I took notes on every single project so that way I could have something to reference. And I compared to see what are projects doing well and what are other projects not doing very well. Then I consolidated all of that information into this document that you're looking at now. This information includes everything from what would be what are the technologies that can be used to get a competitive advantage in this space? What are the systems that are working and what are the systems that are not working? And who is the target audience that we want to follow? And how can we make sure to convert the most people to provide the most value for the DAO, for the organization, for the company, however we might like to call it? And most importantly, I'd say how do we make sure that our resourcing is being limited to the absolute most necessary to be able to scale rapidly, from 35 to 50 to 100 plus employees, while also being able to mitigate our costs so that way we have as long as a runway as possible and can show to our investors and stakeholders that we're making pragmatic decisions. This breakdown here is meant to be able to go into more information about how not only can we create an amazing business partnership of a business development and a grants management program, but how could we take whatever disparate systems that you might have as an organization right now and be able to turn that into production, to have it to where we're creating effective content that can create that organic reach to allow us to truly become a dominant force, not just within Solana, but within the Web3 ecosystem as a whole. How can we have this systemized so that way, as we onboard new business development representatives, grant managers, analysts, content writers, graphic designers, copywriters, and everybody else involved with helping the organization grow, that we can make sure that people are able to understand what the culture is, what the organization's objectives are, and the massive role they can play in helping to create this amazing system. I love the Solana ecosystem. I think that they have the best technology in the space. And I think that with this research and with my experience of over 12 years in sales, 7 years in marketing, 3 years in technology, having learned how to become a developer, I can code in Python, JavaScript, and Rust. And on top of that, I've been working in the space now for just over a year. What I'm looking for is a team to be able to align myself with. I'm looking for someone who's making an awesome technology that could potentially be the next billion-dollar unicorn. And I'd very much like to apply my skills to being able to help support you in your goals to be able to make that happen. If this sounds interesting, then please continue watching along. I've set this up into two main sections. The first going into great detail about how we can use leverage technology to have automations that allow us to create the best business development process in the entire blockchain space. On top of that, I looked at how to take those insights from my research on grants management to put together a grants management program that can provide as much value as possible, as consistently as possible. How can we have the analytic insights that allows us to be able to forecast what does our pipeline look like and how should we be managing labor hours for integration engineers and what types of documentation might we need to provide to onboard more and more developers into our community. There's a whole lot of fun stuff in this document, so I'm excited for you to see it. I'm looking forward to your feedback, and I'd love to be able to set up a meeting sometime to speak. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye for now.